Hello guys, how you doing? Showing up again a little bit. I didn't show up last week. I was taking time to little bit digest all the psychic attack what I experienced. I was doing some shadow work on it, and I'm writing a blog post about it, so you can read a little bit about like the dark entities and the experiences what a lot of us have. And why is it? Because the truth is that you invited it in. If it happened for you that you've been psychically attacked, or you've got the entity, you are being infiltrated, the truth behind this is that the person from where the attack is coming from, it's a messenger, and there is some aspect in your past that you still didn't heal. So it's a really interesting topic. I was doing a lot of shadow work on it. I was sitting with it for a long time, but I probably gonna be sharing separate a video about that, but I am making it the blog post. It's gonna be on the blog very soon about the dark entities. So, but now let's have a look a little bit on the Schumann resonance, and let's talk a little about the energies and what we're going through. I don't know what is like in astrology. I didn't have a look on astrology like for quite some time, but what I'm picking up like in general is that we're gonna be having a lot of clashes with the people, and we are gonna be parting away. It's like sort of like a recalibration to a new timelines. So we are being a little bit sorted out again, even within the spiritual community as well. I don't want to like talk about like a separation like necessarily, but you will be probably feeling way more dissonance even between your spiritual friends, or with your new friends what you try to make. Like there is always a message behind it, and I think higher you go, more challenging it gets to actually be on the same page with the people and understanding the bigger picture, because a lot of us who are working on themselves for quite some time are obviously in a different energetic space than some of the people who have still a lot of trauma in their body, and they're still going through a lot of turmoil. I think we are learning a lot of the patience as well, but there is gonna be a little bit bigger like it's like when you're rubbing with the sandpaper a little bit, it's gonna be it's you can get in all sort of like a sticky and weird like situations these days. The energies on the Schumann resonance are such that sometimes they are very low. Actually, I always feel it. Like I hear the frequency, how it changes. It's very uncomfortable when we get just like from all the greens, when we just get that tiny little pulse, just 8 hertz. It's just killing me. It is like, and it is really affecting a lot of the nervous system. Like you could feel more of the still the unfinished business, what is stuck in the body will come more online. So as well for me, that came through the dark entity I got a couple of weeks ago. I was speaking about it, I think, in a past video. I got infiltrated because I shortly just tell you, because it's related to probably what is happening to us all. We might having like really weird stuff, very like a lot of tension with other people, because a lot of people are tired, and they are tired to being tired, and they are tired for purging. They are tired to dealing with their traumas. They are tired by all this ascension and by this evolving, like because it's endless, and it seems to us that we're not getting anywhere, because it's just this tension in the collective. It's just ginormous. And there is a more demand as well for those of you who are, let's say, still working in a in a 3D jobs, what might happen to you that the demand of you from the work is gonna be really, really big, and it's gonna be pushing you through those, like, I don't know, 30 hours a week, you're gonna be doing 60. Like, and and everything else starts to be a little bit more visible, the dysfunctionality, and then it's like, I cannot find a word for it. It's like you kind of constantly stretching this rubber band, and it's just like, it's very uncomfortable, like these type of energies what we are in with the people very often. And I think it's a lot, it's gonna be with the friends. You will suddenly start feeling that you just don't have anymore the power to dealing with certain friendships, or you might have the same kind of a thing going on with your partnership, or like with your parents. The patience and the compassion that we have to dig deep into our being and taking it out, like, and really like trying to find the compassion for everyone involved in this human experience. It's gonna be a little tricky to know. So we are like sort of recalibrating. We are from this, like, in this period of the calibrating to a different timeline. A lot of us are like gonna be exiting the matrix in whatever way, hard to say. That's gonna be different for everyone. I think it's gonna be like chopping bit by bit here and there. And what the guidance, what I've been getting, is that consciously choosing the reality. And because we are manifesting extremely fast, so whatever you used to manifest, like, took, like, let's say a years, now it could be a matter within like a weeks or months, sometimes a days, sometimes like in a couple of hours. And I give you an example. Let's say, it's a funny example though. I was walking through this park, and there's a lot of people smoking weed there, because I'm from Czech Republic, and we are decriminalized, and I'm purging as well a part of the addictions, what the cultural imprints. It's called the cultural imprints. It's something like, I took on, let's say, transgenerational trauma to purge as a soul. Like, that's what I'm doing in this lifetime as well. I'm purging that bit, but I took on as well for the culture, because I'm from Czech Republic, and we are first in the drinking and smoking and in Europe. And we are decriminalized by the weed. So I'm purging as well, like, these kind of cultural imprints, which are like these unhealthy coping sort of tools, which are really loud practically past couple of years, especially when the war started, because when the war starts, alcohol is more valuable, let's say, than art. So you might find yourself drinking more, or like smoking more, or if you are still having these sort of patterns or habits. So the funny thing is that, like, I showed it that the way I manifested something, like, just I didn't even want to, honestly, but it was kind of funny, because I was going for this park, and a lot of people go there to smoke and, like, weed, and I, you smell it, about it. I don't smoke weed for ages, and I was thinking, like, that would be kind of cool to just, find something on the floor. And it happened to me, like, long time ago. I'm always finding something, money on the floor, or like, weed on the floor. And fair enough, within 2 days I was passing through that park, but it was just a thought went through my mind, because it reminded me about how I found a bag of weed in London in front of our flat where we used to live, and then I found a weed in the woods when just on the floor somebody lost it, and it just flew through my mind. And 2 days afterwards, I found the bag of the weed. It was just tiny bit left in there on the floor in the park. So we are manifesting really fast, and that's as well. When you start to be aware of it, it's good to keep writing a notes about it. because like sometimes when we have intentionally when we want to intentionally manifest something, the good thing how to do it is like setting intention in the morning and let it be. I just don't expect how it comes to you, because sometimes it comes in a ways that it's the least expected it. And I just had the thought that it would be cool to have, to find something, to find again the weed, because it didn't have it for ages. And the funny thing happened but I did not really attach to that it will come to me, and how it's gonna come to me, or if it's gonna come to me. I just had that thought, and for play, like 2 days afterwards, I found the weed. So this is like a one example. I can give you like tons of examples, like how I'm manifesting constantly something like a little. It's kind of funny. It's good to challenge yourself as well. It just makes the human experience more funny if you know how to manifest things, just to experiment as well with the structure, because you are standing in the quantum field and we're supposed to become the conscious creators practically. And because we have so much shit in our minds, and our minds are creating all sort of really bad scenarios, which are manifesting for like a majority of the humans, then it's like, thank God that it doesn't pop like immediately. But we have to learn actually how to direct our mind, because we are manifesting very fast. So that could be money, that could be house or a job. Or I can give you an example, let's say, about a job. Okay, I used to sew these bags like a long time ago, and I sold the sewing machine here. When I finished with the business, when I had a Kundalini awakening, I closed all the businesses that I had to just like get through the hardest part. And I sold the sewing machine here to a lady. She has an alternation service, and I saw her once. I was walking through the town. It's like about a year ago. I saw her like walking through the town on the other side of the road, and I was thinking, wow, well, it wouldn't be a bad thing to just take maybe a part-time job in her place. And I just let it go, and I just was going picking up my daughter, and then on the way back, I met a neighbor. She wanted to return something to me, and the day after she came and she told me, oh, that lady who bought the sewing machine from you, she was asking me if I know someone who is sewing, because one of her worker moved to Belfast, and she needs some help because she's overloaded with her work. And she says that the only person I know is Hana, and so she asked me if I can ask you if you would like to take like some hours there. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I don't know, I manifested it. But I didn't really wanted that job, but I went there to help her for a couple of days for free. I just quit it, because like I couldn't stand it. I couldn't work in that environment. It's too small. And but it's another beautiful example how fast we manifest. Within a couple of days, really, you can manifest a lot of things. So don't get discouraged when you are in some sticky situations, but we are manifesting extremely fast. Just that I wanted to tell you that, like, especially these days, we got upgraded, like, definitely, like it was a lot of upgrades we went through in the whole month of September. It was really like interesting and bumpy and sticky and tricky, and I don't know, you name it. It was I did a lot of shadow work on the entity what I had. Okay, so we are like recalibrating to the new timelines. That's the major message. And like becoming more of our higher selves. Practically the entire idea is not to transcend the physical form, but to merge the non-physical with the physical. So embodiment, like embodying the higher self, just to being more like a higher self, and becoming the master creators. So that's what we came, all of us, to do, to learn how to first to unlearn that we can creating our reality the way we want it. And before that, what's gonna happen is a lot of old energies are gonna come to the surface to be seen, because before you actually shift yourself into a different timeline, or get steady into the new timeline, if you purged a lot, if you sort out a lot of your trauma, then before you kind of like get rooted in the new timeline, when you're like flickering so fast and you boom. So first you have to get rid of all of the density and all of the illusions and all of the contamination what you accumulated. And here comes as well the old pieces of like trauma what you didn't see, so that is gonna be coming to the surface. And if you are in a space where you feeling like everything is falling on you, like, you know, like the biggest shit is like falling on you, and like that all your reality looks like that it is just completely like crumbling, and you've got millions of the challenges, it's because you need to see that old frequency to playing out. It's always first needs to play out. So that's, if you happen for you to be in like crazy situations, that's just because of that, because you need to see it consciously. You have to become conscious about it. Yeah, because when you start to breaking out of the matrix and being more rooted on the organic timeline, that's what is happening practically. It gets way harder. You know, it gets really way harder. You have to be sort of constantly aware, and that's not easy, because it's not easy to be aware. And you know, the awareness itself is coming with the top chakras, you know, the throat chakra, the third eye, especially in the crown chakra, and your soul star chakra. When the soul star chakra, it's all online, when all this is online and it starts coming into you, this is your purpose chakra. So that chakra is all about you living your highest potential, and you become realized. That's how like the yogis are kind of saying. So we are dealing a lot as well with these chakras. I mean, if some of you, we definitely dealing with the throat chakra a lot. There was a lot of cleaning on this bit, and we are still dealing a lot with the lower part of the chakras. A lot of stuff what you still didn't see, a lot of insecurities, you know, lots of, there is gonna be a lot of stuff from the childhood which is coming probably online for you. It depends how old you are, how much you accumulated, what's your contract. You know, like I am purging. My first name is my mother's name, and my second name, or the surname, is my father's name, and I took both of their karma. Not the karma, but both I'm purging for both of the family lineages, because I'm the only one who is awake from both of the sides. There have never been any person in those lineages at all. So I took a part of their stuff, you know, like victimhood, anxiety, depression. There's a load of things. I mean, I'm done with a lot of it. Addictions as well, like, you know, that's a cultural imprint. So a lot of these things are gonna be coming like to the surface again, bits and pieces. Let's say for me, it came through the entity, like it came through the person who I got infiltrated with the entity, like that was a psychic attack. And but it was not her fault, like, you know, that was very unconscious. It was not done like intentionally, and that was a messenger. She was the messenger for me, so that I could look on certain things which were in my life that I still didn't see, which is like they are related to success, and they are related to, in my case, they are related to success, and like why I'm playing small. When I was doing the shadow work on it, and I asked my higher self to show me the memories. Usually you get the moment you've got the inquiry that when you ask why is this in my experience, why is this person in my experience, and how do I feel, you get flooded with the memories from the childhood. And I was oftentimes being humiliated, and I was oftentimes, when I was exhibiting the brilliance in anything, I was being pulled down by people who were either jealous, or my mother used to do that very often, because what my subconscious showed me was that she had there a trauma because she was gifted as well, but she have never been supported. So I got the same shit on, she was putting me down, and I had this like memory of like how I was drawing, and I was coming to her and show her, and she never say, oh, it's really good, or you're very good. She says, this is wrong, or this is not correct, and then and you have it really hardly like done, you always like put so much hard work in it. It's just like she just like dismiss it, like, yeah. And I started noticing it as well at home. Every time I exhibit certain like a brilliance in something, nobody really just tell me, oh, you're really good, or in something never happened to me. So, like I started to seeing it actually. Suddenly I saw, because it was Mercury retrograde and certain cycles repeated, I was in the same situation couple of times, actually, couple of Mercury retrogrades. So what happened for me, I give you the example because we're talking about it, like you can maybe you're gonna relate, and maybe something else is happening to you or for you. The same thing when I had this spiritual friend that long time ago. I think it was actually last year, or maybe a year and a half, or maybe 2 years, I don't know. And we clashed a couple of times on like perspectives. But like I'm the type of person who I am really open to a lot of different type of perspectives. But I often find myself like tiptoeing around the people if they are my friends. And then we clash anyway, unfortunately. But and back then, it was the same kind of a story. We were just talking about something, and I said something, and she got offended, she got jealous, and she pulled me down. She told me, but you don't know how to heal the people, because she's a healer. She's like, oh, you don't know how to heal the people, and you don't know how to raise their vibration. And I was like, well, that's not your job, that's everyone else's job, the people has to raise their vibration by themselves, and the food goes with it. And I think, but that time I didn't really see it, because like I was firm on, and that's not a belief, it's my experience, because I am, everything I'm talking about is it's experiential. It's not something that I did not experience. I've got a big experiences like with a lot of things. What happened for me, like the same kind of a thing, like I was being torn down, and even in the 5D, and like and get grounded, and this kind of a stuff, and I was like, whoa, I heard that many times, like before, this kind of being like pulled down. And when this happens, there is a jealousy on the other side. It's a jealousy of a person who is probably on the journey way longer or have it way harder, and is not there where you at. And the thing with let's say if it's a psychic attack and it involves entity, you have to get compassion with the other person, because she's got it 3 times as hard back, unfortunately. So we were looking definitely on some old shadows that we still didn't see. Maybe you have been infiltrated as well. Like, it's quite common, because when we are too long in, playing in the low vibrations, then it's we are more open to get actually into this type of situations, into attack, let's say, Okay, so that's we are recalibrating, so we are gonna be seeing a lot of stuff. That's one thing. And then, yeah, holding together. I was listening Feel Good today, like that's why I did. It's actually inspired me to do this video. He had this beautiful confession, like his latest video on YouTube, very short. He was in some really difficult situation, I think yesterday, and it really inspired me to do this video as well because I absolutely understand how painful it is when we are when the people not get us, and then when we have to water ourselves down. And here comes, I wrote a couple of days ago this for this update, and that's holding together. I think, you know, us who still are able to love each other for no matter what, and we have to stick together, you know, and it's gonna be more and more difficult for us to find. I think we are just refining, we are like sort of sifting through the people who are in our lives who can actually handle us as well. Let's say I am a very intense person, and I always had this problem with this intensity I have, and not everyone can handle that intensity. And that's why my videos are so long as well. And, you know, some people can have me only just in a small doses, and I absolutely understand that. Like, you know, I'm having a really compassion for myself, like through this journey about this. Like, I remember it was a big piece, big chunk I had to accept and laugh about myself, like, you know, that I am so intense, and it's okay because we have some intense people out there, and Virgos are quite complicated and in a lot of times are oftentimes intense people, the same like Feel Good is, or Guru Jagat was as well, Sadhguru is. They are all Virgos, and so yeah. Now we're gonna get a Libra season anyway. Okay, so we have to hold together, you know, understanding what is good for our, knowing what's healthy for our survival as well, and like working on the bigger picture, like, you know, contributing to the collective, and like making choices that are actually in that alignment with where we're going as in this evolution. So that's kind of a new, yeah, so there is gonna be, I wrote here this like a creative mode and survival mode game because I saw it on my daughter's, she's playing something with, and it made me really think that we are actually in those modes that we constantly like choosing, like either the survival mode where we don't have any resources and there are the creepers who are gonna kill us, or we just take the creative mode where you've got all the resources and all the material you need, and there are no creepers who are gonna kill you, and you can just build your world. And I think that we're gonna be still seeing all the creepers, you know, and all the crumbling of the old, no matter what. You know, it's not love and light and hopes and rainbows and unicorns. This is a war, you know. And we have to be the warriors, yeah. Yes, I think what we definitely have more clarity about the sticky situations, or like old kind of fragments of ourselves that that got lost on the way, that we are retrieving again before we practically recalibrate into the new timeline. Yeah, I think that's all that's going on, like energetically. Schumann resonance is up and down. I'm not really trusting that much anymore. I'm not reading it as much. It's not as clear as it was, and I think it's fabricated. Somebody was saying down in the comments in the last video, was actually talking about it, but you know, just want to let you know that if you think that you're in the 5D or not, okay, so 5D is a frequency and you have to hold it in the body. It's a lot of work, you know, you can tap into it. It's not that we shift it out of the sudden and we are in the 5D. The 5D is available here for years. The thing is that how much work you're doing here. Okay, that's the 5D frequency is here. It's inside of the body. The body has to carry it. The body has to hold it, because practically cleaner you get, less trauma you have in the body, more of your DNA is activated, like you are being more activated. It depends how much the body can handle, how much space is actually there for the activation. That's why it's important that we work on ourselves and doing some practices, you know. Okay guys, I love you. I hope it helps. I put some new recipes like about soup. I am putting some bits and pieces on the webpage. Usually just the recipes, a little bit more yoga and some like I think that's it. I love you. Be good. I wish you, I think, happy, what was it, new moon? New moon. Okay, be good. Bye.